Well, moving on, the oil and gas space has experienced divestment of onshore assets in Nigeria in the last 2 years or so. Now, this is a move that's reported to have yielded over $7 billion for the divesting companies. Well, joining me is Luqman Agboola, an oil and gas analyst with Diamond Bank, to take a proper look at this industry. Now, we have seen a trend of divestment in the sector over the past few years. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I would say the divestment in the past 2 years has been beneficial to Nigeria. I say so because most of those divestments are being taken over by Nigerian companies in partnership with foreign companies. And in each of these divestments, Nigerian companies hold more than 60% of the assets that the IOCs are divesting from. That is really significant because if you recall, before 2 years ago, you don't have any serious player, any serious Nigerian player that is in that space. But today, you have a whole lot of them, and they are not actually stopping there. They are also looking forward to new divestments that they could put their money into. I think it's a significant milestone for the oil and gas sector, particularly the upstream sector for the indigenous players.
All right. Now, you just mentioned that, for a while, Nigerians have not been involved. And, you just talk about having a 60% stake. That's a huge deal from what you've just said. But let's tie this down to the local content policy thing being, tried to introduce into the oil and gas sector. Do you think this reflects positively in that regard?
Sincerely, it has. And I will agree that a whole lot needs to be done. But then we've really gone a long way in ensuring that the local content objective is achieved. Really, before now, you don't see Nigerian companies doing as much as we are seeing now. And I think the Nigerian Content Board is really doing a whole lot in that regard. You have seen Nigerian companies taking stakes in these companies, particularly the divestments. Of course, it doesn't stop there. If you look at the servicing space of the oil and gas upstream, you will see that a whole lot of Nigerian companies are also doing very well in that space, thanks to the Nigerian content law.
All right then. Well, now let's touch up on the PPPRA. Now we see there have been delayed payments to importers, and now this could delay their ability to meet imports for the second quarter. What impact do you think this will have on these petroleum industries and the level of petroleum imports?
Well, as you are aware, most of these imports are financed by banks. The importers do go to banks to get loans to finance the importation. Now, if SDN is not paid on time, it means that they are not able to meet their loan repayment, which is going to affect their ability to import new products. So what that means is that if SDN is not serviced or settled on time, it is going to affect their ability to bring in products. What the feelers in the market as of today is that some of these SDN payment is being delayed. That's a departure from what happened in January. I mean, we got some payments in, and everybody was thinking that the days of delayed payments are over. But apparently, that problem is also creeping in now. And if that happens and it is not nipped in the bud as quickly as possible, we may end up having a situation whereby the projected import volume is not being met, and that will affect the supply of the product in the domestic market.
Well, we see, away from the Petroleum Product Pricing and Regulatory Agency, the Department of Petroleum Resources has planned to revoke licenses with respect to field development for those that do not meet the criteria. Now, what do you think of this, and what will be the implication?
Well, the implication of that is that those who have not been able to do any significant field work on those marginal fields are going to have them taken away from them. That is what the DPR director has said. And that has, in the next few months, you are going to see a whole lot of activities so as to ensure that those who have not done any significant work would go into some kind of partnerships with those who have the money to enable them work on those fields. I see a situation, I see some flurry of activities in that segment of the oil and gas industry in the next, from this quarter till the end of this year. There's going to be a whole lot of synergy. There's going to be a whole lot of partnerships to see how that can be averted for those who are at risk of losing their licenses.
Oh, well, that's a pretty hard stance. You see, the DPR has taken there, but I believe it's for, the country's good. But you just mentioned that you anticipate, mergers in this field, say this year or in the next year. Now, let's take a look at, it's basically more like what happened in the banking sector as well, strengthening these companies. Now, what apart from, they meeting the criteria by the DPR, what other benefits you think lies there if a merger should happen?
A merger is actually a good thing because you are going to achieve economy of scale, you are going to achieve synergy, and you are going to achieve experience, technical capabilities. Because those who are coming together, chances are that whoever is coming in as the senior partner must have been there, and that experience is going to actually go a long way to assist the merging companies. Basically, the challenge with Nigerian business is that you don't see a whole lot of that. But I think it is going to help the oil and gas industry a whole lot, particularly the upstream sector, if you do that. Take, for instance, if you look at the divestment of the IOCs, there is no single company that took that. You saw one or two or three Nigerian companies coming together with their foreign partners and forming a company. And that has worked pretty well. And I think coming together of particularly the marginal field operators to pull together their resources and get it done is going to go a long way at ensuring that the industry moves forward.